Hello, welcome to Author Hour. I'm your host, Richard Lyntton, author of North Korea Deception and Hyde Park Deception. My guest today is Anne Scardino, former longtime Villanova resident. Anne is a building and design consultant turned novelist who has just published her debut whodunit mystery suspense novel, A Tangled Affair. Anne's three daughters are all Radnor High School graduates, and her youngest daughter, Meredith Scardino, is in the Radnor High School's Hall of Fame. So welcome back to Radnor, Anne.
Very nice to see you this morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great because I have to say, looking at you right here now, I mean, I just see Danielle Steele, slash John
so
Grisham.
Flattered.
And having read A Tangled Affair myself, it is, and we'll get onto the book in a second, but it definitely has that sort of Danielle Steele, John Grisham feel. But real quick, for me as an Englishman, the Radnor Hall of Fame thing, just tell me a bit about that. So your daughter, Meredith,
yes.
Now why is that? And just because everyone out there probably more than me will know this, but just explain how she got in the Radnor High School Hall of Fame.
Well, first I want to say congratulations to Radnor for being #1 school district in Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty darn exciting.
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Radnor is wonderful. We have wonderful other schools here on the main line, but my daughters all graduated from Radnor. And amazing. Meredith, my daughter, is in TV and has 4 Emmys for writing for the Colbert Report and has a show on Peacock right now called Girls 5 Eva that Tina Fey is producing. But they put you into the Hall of Fame not just because of athletics, although she did do some athletics.
Yep.
It's just general success in life, I guess, and the things that you do. So it's quite an honor, and it was a wonderful event to attend a couple years ago.
Amazing. And five girls 5 Eva is fantastic. I mean, it's hysterical. It's funny.
I have to say.
It's huge, and you're being very humble about it, and I know you would because you're not a braggadocious person. But I mean, it's extraordinary. Your daughter, I just want to make that clear. Yeah. I didn't want to get to this right away, but it's come up now. But she created it. She created the show. It's on Peacock, which is the NBC app version, the streaming version.
Yes, yeah.
And so, so let me sort of ask you there then. So, did her writing success and career, was that one of the reasons that compelled you to start writing your book?
Oh, that's a good question. I've said to my daughter, maybe I get the writing from you.
Right. What does she say?
The other way around. She laughs at that, I mean, it's really, since Meredith has been writing for about 20 years, I guess, I've kind of been around the whole thing.
Okay.
I had the joy of meeting Stephen Colbert, his wife Evie. They're wonderful people, and the writing teams in different places, and Tina Fey is just so great, and her husband does the music for the show. He's wonderful. So I've been around it, and I, have a degree in journalism. So
Did you get to read the scripts all the way along?
Oh no! I wasn't that involved.
Is that secret? Is that kind of secret?
Yeah, she keeps that to the bread. Yeah, I didn't do that.
Right.
But no, I just decided I might want to write a book about a mystery, a whodunit, the romance of the Danielle Steele.
Okay, so step back. So let's start fresh now then. Who is Anne Scardino? Just give us a quick pen picture, because you're obviously from here.
Yes.
I'm sure many people will know you. So just give us a quick pen picture and then lead us into how the novel finally came about.
Well, I lived here in Villanova for like 20 years, and I divorced and I moved downtown, and it's kind of making a new life for myself, so to speak, like people do after they divorce. You may do things that you might not have thought you would do before. So one of them was I thought I would write a novel. So, when you're a novelist, these ideas, you could probably identify with this. They come into your head and you wonder, how did I think of this? Like, I don't know. And these things usually come to you in the middle of the night. You've got your pad by the bedside table there, and you're jotting things down. And sometimes you feel like you got to run to the computer and put it in. And So these ideas started to come to me, and I started working on it, and I'd put it down, I'd go back to it.
All right, so how many years ago did you move downtown?
Oh, like 15 years ago.
Okay, so then how long did it take you to start thinking, okay, I'm really going to do this after?
Probably 3 years after that.
Okay, so you start writing the notes.
Yeah,
okay.
So I start doing it, and then I started getting more serious about it.
Did you tell anyone?
Yeah, my kids knew I was writing it. My friends did, yeah.
Okay, so they knew, and they said, go for it, Mum, go for it, Mum, I bet.
So then my daughter Meredith, the writer, she said, you should really take a class at the New School, because she got her graduate degree there.
At the which school?
The New School, Parsons School of Design, the New School. Okay. And so I took the same class that my daughter had taken as an elective there in writing, the Sue Shapiro, a novelist and terrific teacher. She's just wonderful, professor, I should say. I took that class, and boy, she makes you dig down deep into your soul and get this stuff out of you and write in a way that you like can't even imagine, because you know, as an author.
So how long was this class?
Oh gosh, it was one semester. It was one night a week. I went up. I would stay at my daughter and my son-in-law's place. And it was like 5:30 to 9:30. I mean, kids could take it as a regular class.
And you have homework every night?
Oh, yeah.
Every week?
Well, every week. We'd have to go back and we'd have to write, she'd have different writing assignments for us.
And are you using the novel idea yet, or is it just like exercises?
Yes. I was using my novel idea at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. Even before that, the Sue Shapiro had a seminar in her Greenwich Village apartment for people who were attempting to become novelists.
Okay.
And Meredith had advised me to go there. That happened even before that. So we were sitting in her apartment. I was there with like these other kids, I'll call them, because I was much older than they. And we're going around telling our different plots that we have in mind. And Sue went, I like it. And to use her quote, she said, you've got to sex it up a bit. You got to sex it up. And I'm like, okay.
Do you remember the plot that you told her? Do you remember roughly?
Yeah, it was basically the same plot.
Can you just reiterate? Right, go on, give us the pitch.
Well, I said it was going to be like a Danielle Steele, John Grisham, about a woman who has to figure out something after her husband is found fatally shot. And because there are some novels like this. I always like the novel The Pilot's Wife, if anyone remembers that story. Like all this stuff comes out about her husband's other life that she didn't realize. And so I liked that idea.
So Secret Life type of thing.
Right. I've always liked mysteries and figuring out like what happened with all this and why did it happen. And like, there's so many scenarios that could have the ability to go such a different way.
Right.
And you follow them, and you'll change it a bit, you'll go back, and then these other things kept coming into my head, like different things. And then sometimes you'll go a certain way, and then you'll change it, and you'll rip it all up, and you'll be just like,
So when, what was the name of this, the ladies where you did the...
Sue Shapiro,
Sue. So when she said sex it up a bit, can you just remember any specific examples? I'm just curious. I mean, was the murder already there at that stage in the book?
God, it was 12 years ago. I'm trying to think if it was at that point. Yes, it was definitely there. It was definitely there.
So I'm just curious, like, because it's like, when you have a plot and you hand that over to people to give you feedback, that's a big deal. And you said, I'm always really nervous about people coming back at me and saying, I don't like this, or this, because it's tough, right? It's your baby. So I'm just curious whether you remember to what extent you did change the plot at that stage.
Gosh, I'm trying to think.
And if you don't, it doesn't matter.
I think the premise stayed about there was going to be a murder.
Okay.
And then all this secret stuff was going to come out.
Nice.
But then all the things that happened to my protagonist after that really came as I worked on the book a bit more.
Right.
These things, I don't want to give away the plot,
but
these things that happened in her life that were really wonderful. I mean, I knew I always wanted her to have a new love life in the book, but I wanted to show, well, let me put it this way. I've always done a lot of charity work.
Okay.
The Philadelphia Ronald
Yep.
McDonald House has been my baby.
Right.
I wanted my protagonist to never have done any charity work.
Okay.
But I wanted her life to change in many ways.
Right.
Just like many people's lives do change when they alter their life in some capacity.
Yep.
So I think all those other things that came in all came as I began writing and rewriting and seeing how they fit into everything. You know, it's almost like a puzzle, don't you think, Richard?
Yeah.
Like you get one thing and then you piece it around it, and then if you remove one of the things and you've got to change the other things around it, it just isn't a linear path.
Right, and I just want to read. I love Lee Himes, who's in
Lee,
fact
wonderful Lee.
In fact, that's how we met. That's how Anna and I met.
Connection.
But and Lee was the very first author on Author Hour. But I just want to read her quote because it's great. Come for the mystery, stay for the lovable every woman that is Claire Bondi. You'll root for her, cry with her, laugh with her, and be reminded that sometimes the worst things in life lead to the most unlikely new beginnings. I love that. That's a great quote. That's a really great quote.
I thought Lee did an amazing job writing that, and I am so indebted to her for putting that on my back of my book. It means so much to me.
Yeah. So let's talk about inspiration. So you mentioned, obviously the Daniel Steele thing, but you did that tickled me. You mentioned Mariska Hargitay. Now, how does that fit in with the plot? And I'm just going to tell you my quick Mariska Hargitay story because it's not as exciting as ending up writing a book. But my very first episode on Law and Order. I was with Mariska Hargitay and Chris Maloney, and we were walking back from the set, and there was a homeless person, and she said, "Oh my!" And we walked past the homeless person, and she stopped and she said, Wait, because stars don't carry money on them, right?
Yeah.
So she said, "Do you have $20 on you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I gave her, and she walked back and gave the homeless person. And so I thought that was a nice story.
She is.
But anyway, you tell me.
I mean, my kids are sick of hearing me talking about Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I just adore her.
Okay.
I think she is so real and so genuine, and the work she does, particularly as a result of her show. Now, isn't that a good transition?
Right.
You see what she does in her show, that she ended up doing these charitable things with helping women that have been victimized.
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of how I wanted my protagonist.
Yes.
That never came to me until we're just talking about it right now. So that's an interesting fact.
But let me ask you this, because I have to admit, I have to confess that I used to really love Law and Order SVU. But I felt like, for me personally, it came across as it was too much the Mariska Hargitay show. Because I don't know, the stories I felt like became too much about her. I don't know, do you disagree with that? You like the progression?
I think the whole entire cast. I think Dick Wolf is like a miracle man to write this. I think every person in there, no matter how small or large their part, contributes. It's like a synergistic thing. Contributes to this in a way that just pulls you in, where you just can't wait to find what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you just said that. What's going to happen? Because for me, there's literary fiction, there's comedy, there's thrillers and suspense.
Right.
And I think you and I are similar in that sense. That that's what excites me most when I either watch a TV show or read a book, is what's going to happen next, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. It's not so much like some people say, character development and all that, and mine is commercial fiction, so I don't go big on that, but it's all about, for me, like that page turner thing.
Yes.
And so for you, it sounds like it's a little bit similar. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but tell me again then, how, going back to the writing process, you had this idea, you start writing. Give us some, because again, I like to share with people time, like how long, when did you write, how long did you write for, and how long did it take to say, let's just do the first draft?
Well, it was a long process.
Okay.
It was years.
Right,
and
same here.
First of all, I would be scared to death that I was going to lose it on my computer. So I would print it out constantly and take it to Staples. The woman at Staples would be like, "You're back again?" I'd be like, "Yeah, can you put it in the," and then as I would write more, I would get it in the bigger binder, the black thing with the clear white back. So I'd go, I love this one down on Columbus Avenue, this lady who ran it. She was so kind to me. Like, I'd walk in, she'd go, how's it going? I'd be like,
sweet.
Here we are. And they'd print it out and I'd take it like it was a baby, like into my
And that was
car.
just like what, like the first 3 chapters,
well,
then the first 4 chapters?
You know, they'd get up to 100 pages and you're up to 200 and you're like, oh my gosh, it's really like looking like a book now, you know?
Right, I love it.
So like I would be back there all the time and they were just probably so glad I should really take that woman. I'm going to take that woman a book.
Please do.
I'm definitely going to go down
Signed
there
copy.
and take her down there to that Staples on Columbus Boulevard.
All right, so it's progressing. It's progressing.
Right.
And then, so you get, so what, how long, a year or 2 or 3 for the first draft?
Well, it like I said, it was a continuum of 12 years ago.
Wow,
like it was just back and forth. I'd put it down, I'd do it. Then it was really when COVID hit.
Right.
I mean, it was like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had it completed. But I really needed to get an agent, a publisher, get it done, and that was the most grueling process in the world. That, my God, you know, you think you get the hard work over with after you write it, and oh my God, that's just like, that's nothing compared to the next step, right? It's like nothing.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that. So how did you, what, you know, again, just we're halfway through, but just tell us, take us through the process again from someone, just the people at home thinking, you know, I want to do this. Like, what did you do?
Yeah, well, I tried the traditional agent publisher route. I sent out like over 100 queries. And I got 2 callbacks for the full manuscript, which I thought I was going to have a heart attack when I got the first one. I literally got this message. I walked around my apartment going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like I could hardly calm myself down. And then
so I just want to jump in again, just to, so you got to understand again. This is for, I know some of you know this, but just want to explain. Like, you spend 10 years writing a novel, right? Then the traditional route is that you send what they call queries out, and your book's already done. And you send them out to 100 agents, and then maybe if you're lucky, as you were, 1 or 2 come back and say, I want to read the manuscript. And then if you're really, really, really lucky, they say, I want to represent you. And then you have to wait another possibly 6 months or even a year for them to go to a publisher. I mean, the process is insane, but carry on.
It is insane. And what you have to do, as you know, when you write these query letters, you have to research the agent because it's very specific for the genre that they take. They have to have a need for a book at the time. They get thousands of queries.
Literally thousands.
And they usually take 4 to 8 authors a year. So this is really luck, as you call it. So that happened to me twice, where you send the full manuscript. I mean, usually they want 10 pages, 3 chapters, you know, like the thing. So it happened a second time, and both times the next day I got rejected. So
the next day?
Yeah. I mean, I only had this great feeling of glee for 24 hours, and then it was like, right.
I guess you could say at least it was kind of them to only make you wait a day, right?
But as my writer daughter Meredith said to me, Mom, there's pretty good odds that you got 2 full callbacks. So anyhow, this is where I think connections come into place. So my work at the Philadelphia Ronald McDonald House, the granddaughter of the late Leonard Toews lived right here in the area, that was owner of the Eagles back in 1974.
Oh, interesting.
She writes books, and these football Freddie books. Yeah, she writes them for children.
Interesting.
And what she does, she uses football to coincide with like historical places. Like with Philadelphia, it would be like Independence Hall and the Eagles.
Fantastic.
And
but for teenagers or
for kids,
or even younger?
Yeah, they're for kids. Yeah. So she does all these books, and we connected on LinkedIn because of my charity work. And she's on the board of the Charlotte House. I was on the board of the Philly House. And so we had this nice relationship. And I said, well, you know, who does your books?
Right.
So she said, oh, it's Mascot Books, it's Hyde Publishing, and she said, I'll send your manuscript on to the owner who bought this and did this process. And then the acquisitions manager contacted me, and they liked my story. And I thought about it long and hard, and I thought, okay, I think I'm going to go this route. So I ended up doing, being their first book under Subplot, their imprint for fiction, which was very, very nice. And they've been really terrific they work with you. It's really a hybrid situation. Like even the cover, from everything, start to finish, is decided mutually. And that's
Let me go off
really
on a
cool.
tangent. Tell me about the cover. I always like to find out.
Well,
let me just say, because I love this cover, but I'm always fascinated because I know what it's like with my covers, and my cover designer send me 3. But tell just real quick before I forget, how do you come up with the cover? Did you like the first one? Did they send you?
No, it went through many iterations.
When you say many, how many?
Oh, well, not that many. I'd say about 10.
Wow.
About 10.
But for the same concept or 3 different concepts?
Here's the thing. They have photographs that they own copyrights to. So when I said, because the book takes place in Philadelphia and Turks and Caicos, I really wanted to have this house. And I'll tell you why. Because when I used to have a place in Turks and Caicos, and I've been going there for 20 years, I still go there. Mm-hmm. I would walk up to the beach and I would see this house at the end of the point.
Okay.
And I just loved the house.
Right.
And that's really the house as I described.
Is that the actual house?
It's the, my description, no, this is not the actual
It's like
house,
an idea of the house.
But it's the idea of the house. And
Interesting.
my description of the house that I give, because being in building and design consulting, I love to describe houses, is really of what the house was. It was up at the point in Providenciales in Turks and Caicos. So it's really interesting. The first one they sent me were these 2 Adirondack chairs on the beach with an umbrella that my protagonist would never
Did you
sit
send
in.
me that one? Did you send me the one with the
I
feel like
beginning,
I saw that.
I may have sent that.
Yeah, I think I did see
And then
that.
I was like, no. And then it's so interesting. I was with a friend. We had gone down to Charleston, and we were at the airport, and I went in just to get a bottle of water and some peanuts or something. And I saw a cover that was similar to this.
Okay.
I was always thinking of the cover being looking out from the house to the water.
To the sea, yes.
And this house, this cover that I saw was a view from the water.
Interesting.
And I said to my friend, Kitty Smith, I said, Kitty, oh my God, this is it. This is how it's got to be.
So you took a photo.
So I sent that to them. I actually bought the book as well, of course.
That was nice.
And they got it. And then they had the colors different than I would want them. And so that's where I think being in interior design really helped, like how the colors should be, the spine, the back. I went with white pages rather than ivory.
Right.
I really like the white against, most children's books are white pages and most novels are like an ivory color.
Right. I think I went for white.
I like the white.
So that the Adirondacks chairs was facing out to sea?
Yeah, it was like looking from the house, like seeing the chairs.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't see the house. You're looking down and then looking to the water.
Yeah.
And then I thought, wow, I really liked this viewpoint of where you're getting in, you're being brought in, like you're out in the water and you're like going into the house.
For me, again, just I'm halfway through the book right now, but it's definitely that sort of Pelican Brief / John Grisham, the Firm, Daniel Steele. So it's that mixture. It definitely has that, and so I guess it makes sense that those are your inspirations.
Yes.
Right? You love Grisham,
and my favorite movie is Something's Gotta Give. For all of us here who know Nancy, we don't know her personally, but Nancy Myers is from Lower Merion.
Oh, no way.
And that movie to me is just, oh my God, that is like my heartthrob of a movie.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
You want to hear my favorite scene in that movie?
Sure.
Okay, so for all of you who are big fans of the movie, at the very end when Harry thinks he just can't get Erica, he thinks it's over and he's on the bridge in Paris and the snow starts coming down, he's looking down, he thinks life's over, and then you hear a car door slam. Oh my God, it's got to be Diane Keaton's character. It's just got to be her. Oh my word. I mean, whoever wrote that, I would have loved to have been in the writer's room when they came up with that idea because it's just brilliant.
Was it a book before?
No,
I
don't think it is. I don't think it was. No, it's just wonderful.
So
I love it.
It's fantastic. I love it. I can see. I think anyone who's seeing you and feels your passion is going to want to read your book. By the way, you did mention that it was. I don't know whether you just said that seriously or in passing. You said it was kind of your publishers want it to be a beach read.
Well, a summer read.
A summer
Let's put
read.
it that way. I think the connotation of beach, summer,
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Okay.
You know, you could read it now if you're going on a trip to the islands. It's a great place to read. Islands.
Because we haven't even mentioned it. It's coming out this month, right?
Oh, it's out. It's
it is
now.
out.
It came out February 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble Books, you know, online, Kindle.
Okay.
You know.
Great.
And you know, I wanted it to be talking about physicality. I asked a lot of people, and I read a lot of surveys. Most people I know you do yours in hardback, and they're wonderful.
I do both.
Fabulous. Okay, but for this type of read, this summer read, where you're throwing it into your bag, and you might be reading it on a beach or something, they want to be able to have it in paperback, but I wanted it to be the size of a hardcover. Okay. And I wanted it to feel great in your hands. I mean,
yes, there is a feel to it, isn't there? What does that feel? Do you know what that's called? I don't know.
There's like a waxy feel to this that just feels nice in your hands for some reason.
And did you ask for that?
No, this was all like...
Because I like that too.
I got to tell you, so this is all done online. I don't see... we're just choosing all this. I'm getting advice from the art director for the book. And you kind of hold your breath. And then I had been away. Well, I was coming back from Charleston, after another trip. And... I come back, because that was later, because I already picked out the cover. I was coming back from somewhere else. But anyhow, I got home, and my concierge at my building said, there's 3 large boxes here for you. And I knew it was my 100 copies that I requested for myself. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I've got to be in the right mindset to open this up. Because if it's not good, I'm going to be really unhappy. And as my daughters will tell you, I am pretty particular, I guess. So I waited until I, kind of calmed down, had myself ready, and took the knife to open up the first box, and I opened it up, and I kind of gingerly looked, and I went, oh my God, I love it. I love it. And then when I picked it up and I put it by, for any of us who are writers, this is your baby, as we said a little bit earlier. This has been something you have worked so hard on, and to think that someone will read this in 5 or 6 hours after you've put
10
all
years,
of this work into this, it's like, yes, it's really important.
That is a great point, actually. People don't realize, so I'm an actor, as you know. Yes. I go and do a scene in a movie.
Special Victims Unit.
Absolutely. Can't get better than that. So get residuals, by the way. Yes, 3 cents.
I love it.
But
bragging rights you got.
Absolutely. But you put all that work in for 10 years, and then it finally happens, and it is a great feat. So what I was going to say is I love seeing myself. Actually, I don't love seeing myself. I can't stand watching myself, to be honest. But I love it when I get a part in a proper TV show. That's my point. I hate listening to my own voice on tape. But so I love that. That's a great artistic feeling. But there's nothing like producing the book, publishing the book, and then I'm at the stage, and I'm sure you are too. I go on Amazon, I see someone just bought a couple of copies in Germany, in France, in Australia. It's just such a great feeling.
Isn't it a great feeling, to know that people are reading this?
Right.
And talk about connecting. I've connected with so many people, they're, I got your book, and particularly on LinkedIn, where I had it on there, and Instagram, and people that I've become new friends to. It's pretty exciting to know that they're reading my book.
It's fun. And it does rekindle. I just did a talk at Exeter University, my alma mater. And literally people who I studied with, 30 years ago, 25 years ago?
Yeah.
Little messages. My old Russian professor, said he remembered this. Here's how cool it was. He said he remembered the Moscow correspondent of Pravda, because I studied Russian. So
you're amazing.
He came to Exeter, this correspondent, and for us in those days, before social media or anything like that, to have a journalist come to the school was fantastic. And he said, and we met him, and he interviewed us, and he said, Richard Bremford, that was my old name, Richard Bremford, in Russian, tall, thin, like a violin string. That was his description of it. It's so funny. But anyway, my Russian professor on this talk, because of the books, sort of remind that. So I totally get. I'm going to just try something brand new that I haven't done before in the last 2 minutes. Okay. What's your favorite color?
Oh, blue, definitely.
Blue?
Yeah.
Favorite author?
Oh, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Interesting. Yeah. I wish we'd talk more about him.
Great Gatsby. Oh my God, to me that is my favorite book of all time.
Favorite movie?
I told you already. Something's got to give.
Okay. Favorite country to visit, not live?
Well, I would like to live and visit. I think Italy. I mean, I've been all through Italy.
So even though Turks and Caicos is pretty high up there.
Well, they're both. I mean, but when I think to go through Italy, all the things, the beauty, the food, the people, the culture, it's just, there's nothing like it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
Pizza. Today's National Pizza Day.
No way.
Yes,
no way.
I heard it on the radio coming in.
Well, okay. What kind of pizza?
Oh, just a margarita.
A margarita?
But any kind of pizza. I mean, my favorite, and I mentioned it in the book, and I will call it Manco and Manco in Ocean City. It was Mac and Manco, excuse me. And now it's called Manco and Manco. But in my day, when I worked down in Ocean City as a waitress in the summer, in my early years after high school and college, but up there having pizza constantly.
Okay, sorry, I'm giving you the wind-up sign because we're almost out. But
my God!
Favorite time of the day?
Night. I'm a night person.
Okay.
I have to watch Stephen Colbert, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I can't go to bed till I watch that.
Favorite season?
Oh, spring.
Spring. And favorite weather? Favorite type of weather?
Oh, like 70-ish. Not what we're having here in the Philadelphia area right now.
Well, look, I think that is pretty much it. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to thank Anne for coming.
You.
If you want to just check out her book, it's on Amazon. Again, my two books are, if you haven't read them, North Korea Deception and Hyde Park Deception. But thank you so much. It was
Richard,
so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's
Great.
been wonderful.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Tara Page.
And get another scene with Mariska Hargitay.
Yes,
you need to be her new love interest. Forget about the other guy.
I had one as an interpreter.
I know.
Another story. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.